let's talk tech then. Sean Keach is Head of Science and Technology at The Sun. Afternoon to you, Sean.
Hello, how's it going, Ian?
All good at this end. Nice to see you as ever. Let's start off with this one. There is competition on the street for Netflix.
Oh, yeah, it's very exciting, especially if you're a fan of American TV, and there are a lot of fans of American TV, certainly in the UK. HBO Max, which is a massive streaming giant in the US, that's coming to the UK on March 26th. A lot of people will be familiar with HBO shows. You've got to think of Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, White Lotus, Succession, there's loads.
Sopranos.
Harry Potter
Sopranos is where I first remember. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, some really like big blockbuster TV. Well, that's coming to the UK. Now, there will be probably a lot of people at home thinking, well, I already get a lot of this stuff through my Sky subscription, which is true. And so this sort of poses a little bit of a puzzle for Sky of what they're going to do. Currently, at launch, if you've got Sky, you're just going to get HBO Max for free. If you want to buy HBO Max and you don't have Sky, you're going to be paying $4.99 a month, and that gets you the very bottom tier, which is ads, and then you'll also be missing some movies. But it comes in cheaper than Netflix's cheapest tier. You can pay an extra quid to get all of the movies, and then you can pay a tenner a month if you want no ads. You can pay £15 a month if you want 4K. If you're a sports fan, it also makes things slightly different for you, because TNT Sports, which is, you can watch football, rugby, UFC on that. Currently, that's tied to Discovery Plus, which is also owned by the people who own HBO Max.
Wow.
That is moving to HBO Max too. So it's same price. You'll still pay £30.99, I think it is, for TNT Sports if you want that. But it's going to be an add-on to HBO Max instead of Discovery Plus. I think it's going to be quite interesting to see how it all shakes out, because they're sort of coming to the UK quite late, even though the content is going to be here. It's going to be interesting to see if regular Brits will be willing to spend the extra for yet another streaming service.
Well, I was going to say, it's another streaming service. And, of course, you do, whenever the streaming services begin, they can't, they need more than just their own programs on there, right? So they end up obviously buying in others. So they'll have, as you mentioned, Game of Thrones, Sopranos, whatever it happens to be, they'll have all of that kind of more recent-y stuff on there. But they've got to bulk it out with other production somewhere.
Absolutely, I'm sure they will. I think really they are very confident in the fact that they have some of the most loved TV shows of all time, and certainly the new Game of Thrones spin-off is also doing very well critically and with people. It's also interesting to see how Sky is going to react, because some people might have Sky literally just for HBO content. And so there will be plenty of people out there thinking, well, do I need my Sky subscription anymore? Should I just have HBO and Netflix? Sky is relaunching Sky One. I don't remember Sky One. It went away, I think, 5 years ago. They're bringing Sky One back. Yeah. And that's going to be a sort of a showcase for some of Sky's own original content. And it's a bit of a sort of plea, I suppose, of, stick with Sky. We've got loads of stuff. But Sky One was, a staple of households for a long time. So that's a nice return. That's coming back February 24th, I think. So yeah.
I remember Sky One. I was trying to think what was on there. There used to be a show, I think it was called the 1 till 3 show, with Paul Ross, now of this parish at TalkSport, and Davina McCall. I think it was the first TV show possibly Davina McCall did. And I remember Paul Ross saying to me, watch for this girl, she's going to be massive. And of course it turned out she was, and became a huge TV name. So it did spawn certainly some personalities. I wonder what the next incarnation reveals for us. Let's move to this story, Sean. Ring doorbells. They're growing and they're expanding their capabilities, and this one involves lost pets.
This is a very weird story. So Ring doorbells in the US, and this is specifically the US, it's not in the UK yet. They have this feature called Search Party, which I actually think a lot of people didn't know about. But it basically uses the network of Ring doorbells in your area, combines it with AI to spot lost dogs. So you upload a picture of your dog, you say, oh, my dog's lost, and then the AI will check in with all the footage from the local neighborhood and see if it spots your dog. And if it does, then it'll flag it. And they said that it's found a dog a day in America since it launched. So anyway, the Super Bowl, they did this big ad showing off the feature, and I think basically no one knew it existed. And now everyone's like, what the sort of Big Brother 1984 hell is this mass surveillance network? People were panicking that it's on by default, which it is, and you had to opt out. And I think what really spooked people was the fact that in October last year, Ring had announced this partnership with this company called Flock Safety in America, which is a surveillance tech company that works with law enforcement. And the plan was to integrate the systems so that your footage from your doorbells could work seamlessly with police investigating crimes. And I think this Super Bowl ad combined with that set off a lot of alarm bells. So actually yesterday, they cancelled this partnership with Flock Safety because so many people have been furious. People have been cancelling their Ring subscriptions, tearing doorbells off their doors.
Wow.
There's a lot of panic about this. And, I think it is an interesting topic because no one wants crime in their neighborhood, but also you can imagine, especially in certain countries where having a surveillance network of this kind could be, really damaging. And so it's that sort of that 1984 question again. I mean, there is still the dog hunting feature is staying on there, and there's still a feature called community requests where police can put out a request for footage and you're allowed to upload your Ring footage if you think you've caught something. But having the automated system, they've put on pause because I mean, obviously there's been a lot of backlash.
Well, indeed, and I know that in some places in the States, I don't know if you've ever seen this story, Sean, but there are some police forces that have combined with local authorities and given away Ring doorbells as a sort of neighbourhood watch scheme. So they have an entire, it's 17, 20 streets, all have a Ring doorbell. They get it for free. The only thing is they have to share all of their footage with the local police authority. But it does essentially mean you've got an entire estate that is surveyed 24/7.
And I'm sure there'll probably be a lot of people listening to and watching this who think, I'd be perfectly happy to let the police tap into my system if it helps them catch criminals. I suppose it's always that problem with privacy is that you don't know what the next government will do. And even if you're not worried about the current government spying on you, you don't know what the government in the future or the government after that will do. And it's very hard to claw those privacy rights back. And so I think, and especially in America where you have this sort of a big debate at the moment about all of the ICE stuff, I think that probably hasn't helped with Ring's case. There's a lot of nervousness that, how is this footage going to be used? How is it going to be scanned? And I think it's probably more poignant there than it is here at the moment. So it's very interesting.
Let's move to this story. Now, I don't know whether ordinarily this would be on the Antiques Roadshow rather than our feature, but I'm sure you're going to explain more. But somebody's had a massive find when it comes to, well, should we say, Henry VIII memorabilia.
Absolutely. So as my role as science editor as well as tech editor, we do a lot of archaeology, and someone has really come up with something pretty good. This cafe owner back in 2019, he found this necklace buried in a field in Warwickshire, and it transpires that it's actually a very rare necklace from the 1500s, the time of King Henry VIII. And so rare, in fact, the British Museum has cobbled together £3.5 million to save this necklace for the public. So at some point later this year, it will go on a sort of tour across the UK, and people will be able to see it. But it's linked to King Henry VIII and Catherine of Aragon.
Wow!
It's a 24-carat pendant. It's got his Tudor rose on it, and it's got Catherine's pomegranate, the seal on it. Catherine of Aragon was obviously his longest marriage before he sort of got the hots for Anne Boleyn and ditch that.
Off with the head.
Which is very sad, but which is ironic because the necklace is inscribed with the old French word for always, which transpired not to be true. So anyway, under the Treasure Act, when you, as a metal detectorist, find something like this, the museum gets it priced up by an independent committee, and then you end up splitting the money that they offer you between you, the metal detectorist, and the field owner. So $3.5 million, half of it's going to this cafe owner who found it with a metal detector, and the other half is going to the field owner. So $1.75 million, which is pretty good. I've never found anything like that in a field. So
well, particularly, I don't know who feels best about it. Maybe the bloke that owns the field, who had to do nothing at all, suddenly discovered somebody had found something in his field. So that's good. I wonder if there's any battles over this. Does the law say it's 50-50? Is there, could there be, if you were trespassing and weren't supposed to be in the field, would that change the dynamics of the split? Would there be a split at all?
Yeah, so this rule dates back to 1996, and it's de facto, basically in all situations, will be 50-50 split.
Yep.
unless you have agreed previously to do it in a different way.
Right, gotcha.
I think they try and have it as a nice sort of fair split. But certainly, you know, what a win for this guy. My parents live quite near where the Staffordshire hoard was discovered, which is lots of Anglo-Saxon jewelry, and I often walk around the fields and I find absolutely nothing. So my fingers are always crossed. But
did you ever have a metal detector?
As a child, yeah, you know, your parents would hide 2p's under the ground. You know, that's the most.
Seriously, I thought I'd found all that money. I didn't know it was being hidden there. Yeah.
No, well, hopefully this inspires people to get out to the local fields and.
How much? Yeah, if you had to, I wonder if there's a kind of Chat GPT best guess on how much treasure is underneath us in this country. I mean, it would dwarf that 3.5 million figure by probably a trillion-fold, I guess.
Oh, sure. And I mean, there must be so much buried stuff. And you certainly see this whenever there's any construction in London. They're always coming across plague pits, burials, lost relics from Roman times. It's really very interesting. In fact, if you ever go to the Gherkin, there's a plaque on the floor where they found a Roman burial of a girl. And there's a plaque there that still marks where she was dug up during the construction. So
it's all very nice and romantic. But if you're building your own house, and you suddenly discover that, you know, somebody comes along and tells you it's, you know, where you're trying to build is on an ancient squirrel cemetery or something, and you realise, oh God, you know, the conservationists are going to stop me. And just a further point on the field, I wonder how many metal detectors descended on that specific field after this was found.
I suspect that the field owner would probably not mind too much, I suppose, if, you know, one of the more gems.
In you come, guys. If you find it.
For him, but, you know.
Absolutely. Just a final one here. A new wave of romance scams across the internet. This is literally as old as the internet, but they keep evolving and becoming ever more devious. What's happening now?
It's non-stop, and experts are specifically warning. Obviously, Valentine's Day is tomorrow. It's a good reminder if anyone has forgotten. But romance scams really pick up at this time of year. Last year, there was £100 million stolen from romance scams, which is when people pretend to be someone else online, hoodwink you, and then either get you to invest some money or send them money with a sob story, or sometimes they'll just be trying to get some saucy selfies for you that they can then use to blackmail you. And again, it is a really, really old con, but people still fall for it, and it's easy to sit back and think, well, I never would, but people do, and experts are saying that actually AI has made it even easier to trick you, because they can make very convincing fake photos that look alike, fake videos, fake voices. I'd say the good thing is that actually the same rules apply as always for spotting them. If someone's rushing you, especially with finances, be careful. Try and keep your conversations on the dating platforms. Don't let them move you off to like WhatsApp, because then there are fewer safety rules around it. And if someone is asking for money, that is the most massive red flag. And even just from a dating perspective, if someone's asking for you for money straight away, you should be worried anyway, whether they're a scammer or not. So just be cautious, and be cautious with selfies as well, because if they can't trick you into investing money, they might go down the blackmail route.
But when you go fishing for it, if you're the scammer, you know, you send out, you know, a couple of hundred of those. All you've got to do is meet the right person with just the right point of vulnerability or susceptibility at that time. Might take you weeks before you find them, but before you know it, you know, you've told them about your great auntie's operation that needs some money. You've told them you're coming over to see them, which needs some extra money. You've told them your car broke down, so you need to, you just need to meet them. And that's, of course, how these things so often work. Listen, Sean, on that point, thank you, as ever. He is Sean Keach. He's the head of science and technology over there at The Sun. Thank you to him. And by